Walmart. They make billions in profits. Their workers are one of the largest corporate users of social service programs. Why don't Walmart workers share in the profits of Walmart?
John asks a decent question here, but Janet gives this response.
Companies have a right to distribute profits to their shareholders.
That has got to be one of the most tone-deaf responses I have ever heard, especially from a relatively progressive economist. And what kills me is it's not even the right answer, but John pounces.
Walmart makes billions in profits and can distribute it to its shareholders, and that's just how it goes. But we know that we, the taxpayers, are subsidizing their workforce.
The implication here is that Walmart should use some of its profits to pay its employees more so that the rest of society doesn't have to subsidize them. Now, I profoundly respect Jon Stewart and Janet Yellen, but John is making a few common mistakes here that I think need to be addressed because they are hurting his own agenda. The first mistake is assuming that if we force Walmart to pay its employees more, that it will come from its profits. I assume John is talking about raising the minimum wage, which I support. The federal minimum wage is so laughably low that it effectively doesn't exist. But raising the minimum wage is a double-edged sword because it doesn't just raise it for Walmart, but also all of its competitors. If the cost of flour goes up across the country, there's no increased competition. It affects all the pancake companies in the same way. They don't let that eat into their profits. They simply end up passing that cost on to the consumer, and the price of pancakes goes up. It's the same way with labor. And who shops at Walmart and all its competitors? Low earners in the middle class. The cost of raising the minimum wage ends up getting passed on to the people you're trying to help in the first place. Now, don't fall into the trap that raising the minimum wage does more harm than it does good. That is certainly not the case, but it is a 2 steps forward, 1 step back type of solution.
But corporate America gets all the benefits of American stability and fiscal policy, but bears none of the responsibility.
This is the heart of the matter, so before we jump into it, I want to establish 2 things. The first is that if you were going to invest some amount of money in an economy, spend it on those people that are most disadvantaged. That is the way you will get the most bang from your buck. Now, if you disagree with this statement and the Nobel Prize-winning economist that I took it from, you can turn the video off now. I assure you, you will not like the rest of it. And I would also be shocked if Jon Stewart disagrees with this statement. The second point is that Walmart may exist as a legal entity, but all of its employees and shareholders are people. Walmart doesn't buy and live in vacation homes, its shareholders do. Now, its employees we could divide into 2 groups. Low earners and management often does share in the profitability of companies, so let's just lump them in with the shareholders. So Walmart really exists as low earners and shareholders. But who are Walmart shareholders? It's middle and upper class Americans. Now, you may believe that that's becoming disproportionately upper class, and you're sort of right. We'll circle back to that at the end. But the point I'm making here is that Walmart is just people. Those people are a part of society. Walmart does not stand aside from society. It is society.
They're getting the benefit of our tax dollars. So it's not free market.
Our society benefits from low-cost convenient goods. If they didn't, Walmart wouldn't be profitable, and in the long run, they wouldn't exist. That is the basis of a free market. But the middle and upper class disproportionately see the gain of that value. Their specialized skills, a lot of them work with companies that do business with Walmart, or they may own the stock in their investment accounts. Now, the middle class doesn't own as much of the stock market, but they do see the benefit of this robust economy that Walmart is a part of, certainly more than low-income earners. The middle class don't just get cheap, convenient goods, they get a strong economy that they can capitalize on. To improve that economy the most, to their own ends, the middle and upper class pool their money together and invest it on those that are most disadvantaged in the economy to maximize that investment's effects. It is not charity and it is not subsidies. It is the way the middle and upper class get the most benefit out of their investment, and that is as free market as it comes. This is the basis of a progressive tax system. Now, I know Jon Stewart isn't against progressive taxes, but all this talk about subsidizing is off the mark. We do need to make changes to our tax system to tax profits closer to the source, which John and Janet eventually get to in the conversation. But the reason we subsidize low earners is because that's what's best for everyone, not just low earners. There is so much more I wish I could go into, but this would turn out to be a 3-hour video. So I do want to jump to one final solution that Janet does mention that gets my gold star approval.
We also need to invest in their workers so that they can have jobs that will produce better pay, that they'll have the skills to be able to compete.
Remember this important part? The best way to spend this money is to give every opportunity and assistance for these people to improve their skill sets, to make them more competitive in the job market. This, of course, has its own myriad of problems that even the most progressive of economists cannot agree on. So we have 3 flawed or very difficult solutions. 1, raise the minimum wage. 2, optimize our progressive tax system. And 3, invest in low earners. The answer, of course, is a mix of all 3, which is why this conversation seems to boil down to John asking the question, why can't we do this better? And Janet answering, because it's complicated. Now, earlier I talked about kind of the growing discrepancy between the middle and upper class, and I think this is the best place to start that conversation. Stick around the channel for similar content, and I will talk to you soon.